When you travel, I think it comes down to me. Fortunate to work with different wheelchair companies. I'm working with a wheelchair company at the moment called RGK, who are based in the UK. And they've given me a wheelchair called the RGK Tiga FX, which folds really small. It means no longer do I have to be on the plane and worrying whether my chair is going to arrive at the destination that I'm going to, or be stuck on the plane waiting for the cargo people to take the chair out of the hold. And usually you end up being taken off last, but now I get off first. So for me, it's about the equipment that I have. And also I was really fortunate enough to have a series editor and producer who had a disability, and she made sure that the studios that I worked in were all accessible.
Yeah, that's great. And that wheelchair sounds amazing, because you're right, for most people who use wheelchairs, they're the first to get on or the last to get on, and definitely the last to get off. And so
Yes.
I hope that wheelchair, is accessible to everyone. Do you know what the cost is like? Is it accessible in terms of pricing for the average person with a disability?
Yeah, I was fortunate and got the company sponsored me, but the chair, I think the chair would probably be around $2,000 US dollars, maybe a little bit more. But I know there are definitely schemes in the UK which can provide funding to help people get a wheelchair that is accessible and a wheelchair that they can use for traveling. And also, I know the company RGK are very helpful, and if they know that someone has issues, just contact them and they will find a way and try and find sources for you to help you obtain the funds that you need to get those chairs. Because and also, I mean, contact me if I can find a charity or a way to help someone who really needs a chair to get themselves around or to travel. I will try in any way I can to help you out and direct you to the right charities, because I think it shouldn't be to have a quality accessible chair shouldn't be a luxury. It shouldn't be something that only someone with money or people with money can afford. It's a basic human right for everybody to be able to travel around freely, and having a wheelchair that gives you that kind of accessibility and that kind of freedom is super important.
Yeah, it definitely is. I know sometimes the technology is there. They have stair climbing wheelchairs and wheelchairs that stand up, but in terms of pricing, it's not necessarily
Oh,
obtainable by a lot of
yeah,
people.
you're right. You're right. And that is something that we need to work on, is bringing the pricing down. And the way that's going to happen is to have more companies building wheelchairs. At the moment, there's very few companies. So because there's small numbers and there's a small demand, then the price of the wheelchairs are quite expensive and the materials are quite expensive. But I also think knowledge, there are millions and millions of disabled people all over the world, but many of them don't know what is available to them, the level of equipment, the level of wheelchairs that are out there. And I think it's down to us, people like myself and yourself, Ming, and podcasts like this, to spread the word and tell people about the equipment that's available out there.
You were saying your wheelchair folds down to really small. Do you know about around what size that RGK wheelchair folds down to?
Oh, do you know what? I mean, it's actually just on the other side of this table. If you don't, I can bring it and show it to you if you want, just to because it's folded down. If you don't
Sure.
mind.
Sure, yes.
Okay, you're going to get a live demonstration here, Ming. All right. So this is the wheelchair. I'll put it all together with the side guards. So normally it would have wheels on, obviously. So you can see the frame.
Yeah.
Now, all I do on the front of the chair, there are these levers which I turn. So if I turn, see this lever which I'm turning,
Uh-huh.
this knob. So I turn that way, so it's open, and I do the same on the other side. And when I push the levers forward, this folds down, and then if I do the same with the side guards and at the back, obviously we're not in the most ideal space to show it, but it should give you a rough idea. So it then folds down to this size. So
Wow.
you could get that in a big bag, or you can put it in the overhead compartment of an aeroplane. And as you can see, I'm just lifting it up pretty easy. I can lift it up with one hand. It's super, super light. And it's called the RGK Tiga.
FX.
And they travel all over the world with the chairs, and they've got certain programs. And also, I think they will probably have second-hand models of chairs as well, which will be cheaper as well to get. But that chair is a really special chair for me. It's really opened up doors.
That's great. I know it saves so much time too, right? It saves at least half an hour during every ride, if not
Yeah.
an hour or more.
And you know what, the other thing that is funny is when you see the flight attendants' faces when they see you fold the chair, because initially when you tell them, oh, the chair can fit in the overhead compartment, they look at you like you're crazy, and they're like, no way, no way, you need to put that below. And then when you start folding it and they look at it, they're like, oh, okay. It's almost like you've done some sort of magic trick.
So do you use that one for your travels then? Do you take
This
it
is, yeah,
on? Do you use
this
it
is
for
the
every
chair.
day, or do you just use it on to get on and off planes?
I use this when I'm traveling. I can use it every day, but I've got another chair which I use every day, which is a lot, is this one's light, but my other one is even lighter. So, and also because this chair takes a beating, you know, for instance, I go to, in a year, I might travel when there's not a pandemic and there's not travel restrictions. On average, I would probably do about 25 to 26 countries a year. So that's a lot of traveling, and the chair takes a beating. So what I try to do is, as soon as I get it back to the UK, I try to get the chair serviced and sorted so that it's in peak condition for when I travel again. Because there's the one thing you don't want to have is to be traveling in a far country, you know, to be somewhere in Asia, South America, or Africa, and your chair breaks, you know. So I have to make sure it's serviced as soon as it comes back to the UK.
Yeah, no, you definitely have to plan ahead of time for those kinds of things. And I know that I've had malfunctions in those areas, and it's, hard to. Luckily, there haven't been big malfunctions, so it was
Mm-hmm.
fixable for the time being. But I imagine if there was a big malfunction, it would be really hard to fix.
So what do you like? What do you like mechanically, Ming? Can you fix? Can you fix a puncher? Can you fix a broken caster?
I can fix casters and hair in my caster wheel. I am guilty in terms of pumping my tires and repairing tires, just because I know it's a bike tire and most people in developing countries even will be able to do it.
Yeah, yeah. You know, I think we get a little bit lazy, don't we, over in the Western countries, because we just like, we think, oh, you know what, we can just take our chair to a bike shop or anywhere and get it fixed. But I think actually one of the things I've had to try and sort of make sure I take control of is, one, keeping up my skills of maintaining my wheelchair, and two, taking toolkits with me with spares, you know, having a few Allen keys, a few spanners, a small pump, spare inner tubes. You just got to be prepared. So I have a small emergency kit that I always take with me when I'm traveling, just in case, just in case. Because yeah, I was in a couple of years ago. I was in Mogadishu, in Somalia, and yeah, there may be people who can fix it, but sometimes it's too dangerous to go out and find someone. So you got to do it yourself. So Ming, start pumping up your tires.
Good tip. I really should. That is a basic skill that I should definitely learn. And I have those I have a toolkit with me too. I like to I like to have the toolkit with me in my bag, carry on in the carry on, not what's the other one called? And so
Not in the
often,
hold luggage underneath the plane, yeah.
yeah, exactly. And oftentimes they'll confiscate my tools. I do that because I don't want my luggage to get lost in it. And if it does, and if there's any delays, I'll have all the things I need with me still.
I tell them, right, that listen, I need these tools. These are essential tools. I say, if my chair breaks, are you going to fix it? No, you're not going to fix it. I'm going to fix it. So I need the tools. And I get the tools out and I show them, and I show them how they work. And generally, they let me take them on. Unless you've got something like a knife or a sharp implement. But Allen keys, they generally allow me to take onto the plane, and puncture repair kits as well.
Yeah, most people are generally reasonable, but there's always that stress, especially since I insist on having it put into my carry-on. Um,
Yeah.
and a lot, and some people don't, especially when they don't speak your language, they don't necessarily listen to logic.
And
And
also, um, they don't, sometimes some people, I don't know, they can be a little bit patronizing when they see you're in a wheelchair, and they don't, and they won't listen to you properly because you're in a wheelchair. So I tend to have to get a little bit direct and a little bit forceful with them, and then they kind of understand after a while. Because yeah, if you're not direct, and you don't tell them exactly what you need, then they just push you around, and then you don't get what you need done.
yeah, exactly.